Hey everyone, my name is Joe Bartle, and I'm going over the 3 players I love and hate entering Week 12. Starting first with Devonta Smith. I would imagine, given 6 teams on bye, you probably have to play Devonta Smith, but he's just not getting a ton of looks right now for the Eagles offense, and Saquon Barkley has been turning things along for the Eagles. Smith has 7 or more targets in just one game dating back to Week 3. Obviously, there's a lot of boom and bust potential for Devonta Smith's production, but A.J. Brown is the guy, Saquon Barkley is the guy, and when you're getting less than 6 targets a game, that's wide receiver 2 numbers. For what it's worth, this week, the Rams are a great matchup from a passing perspective, so you probably can still play Devonta Smith. But the production, the targets, the opportunities, it's just out there on a week-to-week consistent basis. I would rather play DeAndre Hopkins this week. I'd rather play Lab McConkey. I'd rather play Calvin Ridley. And I'd rather play Jauan Jennings over Devonta Smith right now with his current workload. Along the same lines, Terry McLaurin. Again, you're probably playing Devonta Smith and Terry McLaurin with 6 teams on bye this week. I understand that. I think we need to be a bit more cautious about the Cowboys matchups and, frankly, any future matchups for the Commanders moving forward. Along the same lines as Devonta Smith, I'm out on Terry McLaurin this week. To be clear, out doesn't mean outright benching them. Like, you're playing Devonta Smith, you're playing Terry McLaurin likely with 6 teams on bye. There's not many options out that you can find. But I think the book is out on how to stop the Washington Commanders offense, and specifically the Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin thing. You just put a safety over the top, you have a cornerstone Terry McLaurin, boom, the big play is effectively busted. And right now, with the way Cliff Kingsbury is running things, there really isn't a counter punch to that move. Maybe that happens at some point down the future, but right now I'm not comfortable saying, yes, Terry McLaurin, automatic top 10 play. I also think, and this is a great time to take that, I also think this is a great time to discuss possibly trading Terry McLaurin. You look at the numbers, 6 teams on bye. Week 12. You have Week 13, 0 byes. The Week 14, another 6 teams on bye, including the Commanders. It's entirely possible if you need to win right now, or at least win 2 times over the next 3 weeks, trading Terry McLaurin makes more sense than holding on to him, especially if you're getting 2 assets out of 1. The final hate for me this week is J.K. Dobbins. And I know it's a revenge game of sorts for a bunch of different former Ravens guy. Greg Roman, offensive coordinator, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. You could say Jim Harbaugh has some stakes on the line facing his brother Monday night. I care about the Baltimore Ravens defense, specifically being awful against the pass and really good enough against the run. Dobbins has been really struggling too. He's getting plenty of work with Gus Edwards back. There's been a bit of a split with Gus Edwards. Hassan Haskins gets a carry or 2, and then Dobbins gets a lion's share. But it's overall been a disappointing outcome after the first 2 weeks of the season where Dobbins was going nuclear. Dobbins has been held under 60 rushing yards in 6 of the past 8 games. So he's getting tons of volume. He's right around the fringe of a running back 24 this week, to me, for running back 2, based on that volume alone. The over-under is one of the highest of the Week 12 slates, so therefore Dobbins has a chance to fall into the end zone, just like we saw last week against the Bengals twice. But in reality, I think Dobbins' yardage total is capped, and if he doesn't score a touchdown, we're talking about a guy that probably let a bench running backs outplay. I would have him behind DeAndre Swift, or I'd have him behind Tony Pollard. I'd have him behind Chuba Hubbard and Bucky Irving too. So a lot of different running backs in that running back 24 tier-ish that I've been playing over J.K. Dobbins. All right, moving on to the 3 players I love this week. Starting first, Drake Maye. To be clear, I think he's outside the quarterback 1 conversation. I'd rather play Bo Nix. I'd rather play Anthony Richardson. I'd rather play Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. But 6 teams are on bye, especially in Superflex. It's entirely possible that you're having to decide between the Jameis Winstons, Cooper Rushes, I know I am, Will Levis's, Tommy DeVito's of the world. Drake Maye is significantly better than all those guys. And I actually think he's like the safest floor, if nothing else, from a rushing perspective. He gets about 30 to 40 rushing yards a game. He's been passing a decent amount of touchdowns and, more importantly, a decent amount of volume, despite the weapons for New England severely lacking. I think Maye is right around quarterback 15 or so, and I would play him over Russell Wilson, especially Thursday night with all the weather. I'd play Drake Maye over Sam Darnold at this point against the Bears. And I think I'd play Drake Maye over Caleb Williams, who looked good last week against the Packers. Maybe the book is out and stopping his rushing. I think Drake Maye has a very safe floor as a possible quarterback 1, and we're not really considering him in that same range. Another player I love this week is Austin Ekeler. It's entirely possible that both Commanders running backs, Brian Robinson and Austin Ekeler, are top 24 plays this week. We just saw Joe Mixon victimize the Cowboys defense, 3 touchdowns, over 100 rushing yards. It felt like he was going to hit that in the first quarter at that point. You're likely already playing Brian Robinson regardless. So my recommendation on the love part is more so related to Austin Ekeler, who I think is going to have some opportunities. Now, the idea would be if the Commanders get up early, you're running Brian Robinson a ton in the second half. He's getting all the 20-plus carry production. He's getting about 20-plus or more carries in that event. That's entirely possible. In fact, that's the outcome that Vegas would suggest with the touchdown plus spread right now at the moment. If that scenario occurs, though, I think Austin Ekeler has to play a part either as a receiver or as a running back. And I know the workload hasn't quite been favoring Austin Ekeler in the same way it was when Robinson was injured, but he's still getting around 8 to 10 touches. I think if you're talking about a run-heavy offense and a run-heavy game script, Ekeler becomes a part of that as well, too. So I'd rather play Ekeler over Jonathan Brooks, who's being activated for the Panthers this week. I'd rather play him over any or whatever healthy running back is left for the Raiders. I'd rather play Austin Ekeler over Rico Dowdle. He's a low-end running back, too. He's a flex play of sorts, but we need to be considering more in that range with the scoring upside of mind for the Commanders. Finally, my last love for the week is Jauan Jennings. He's just about borderline must-start territory for me week to week. We made that same statement for Cedric Tillman last week. Didn't play out. Not sure it plays out Thursday as well. This recording will be posted afterwards. I think Jauan Jennings, especially with I've done for the season, Deebo Samuel doing whatever Deebo does, George Kittle banged up at times. Jauan Jennings is about a must-play, top 15 receiver in my mind. And this is a reminder to folks to start valuing him that way. I'm talking about trading Terry McLaurin earlier on the hate list. Jauan Jennings is going to be a top 20 receiver moving forward. The Niners offense passes a lot. Brock Purdy has a lot of trust in 3rd and 1. I think Jauan Jennings is a critical factor. Now, this matchup in particular, Packers secondary is bad. I mean, whether Jair Alexander is healthy or not does not matter. They've been abused over the past couple weeks from a passing perspective, whether it be DJ Moore or other prominent receivers. And I do think Jauan Jennings becomes that guy. 11 targets over the past 2 weeks. That's not changing too much. A worst case scenario is 8 targets in my mind. So I like Jauan Jennings a lot. And I think he's dangerously close. I think Jauan Jennings is dangerously close to wide receiver 1 territory this